The night was heavy with fog, the kind that clung to your clothes and whispered in your ears as if the world itself was holding its breath. Liam had never seen the station so empty, and he had arrived late, just minutes before the 11:45 p.m. train to Black Hollow. A single flickering lamp hung over the platform, casting weak shadows across the cracked concrete. The only sound was the distant rumble of the approaching train. He glanced at the timetable. Everything was running late tonight, yet somehow, the train to Black Hollow was on time. Strange, he thought. The platform was deserted, save for a frail old man hunched over a cane, muttering numbers and dates to himself. Liam hesitated. Heading to Black Hollow, the man rasped. Yes, Liam replied, approaching cautiously. Don't get on that train, the man warned. Not tonight. Not ever. Liam forced a laugh, trying to hide the chill crawling up his spine. Thanks, but I have to get home. The old man shook his head slowly, whispering something Liam couldn't understand. Then, without another word, he shuffled off into the fog. Liam shrugged and boarded the train as the wheels screeched against the rails, announcing their departure with an echoing groan. The carriage was oddly silent. The overhead lights flickered weakly, and the air smelled faintly of mildew and iron. Liam found a seat near the middle, hoping for some comfort. Across the aisle, a woman sat, her eyes fixed on the floor, her face pale under the dim light. A child clutched her hand, but when he glanced closer, the boy's face was featureless, smooth as porcelain. Liam's heart thudded against his ribs. The train lurched forward. The familiar whistle and the rhythmic clatter of the tracks should have been reassuring, but tonight it sounded wrong, like the rails themselves were crying. He tried to look away from the woman and the child, but the reflection in the window caught him. Dozens of faces staring back from the dark glass. Faces he didn't recognize, but somehow knew that a low hum filled the carriage, growing louder with every passing second. Liam tried to rise, but the train seemed to resist him. The doors at either end were sealed shut, the windows now dark and opaque. Panic clawed at his throat. Hello, he called, his voice trembling. Is anyone there? The woman finally looked up. Her eyes were empty black pits. She smiled, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. The child reached out a hand, its skin cold and clammy, gripping Liam's arm with unnatural strength. He screamed, but no sound came. The train jolted violently, tossing him against the seat. Outside, the fog thickened until the night vanished entirely, replaced by a dark void dotted with dim, floating lights. The whistle sounded again, but this time it was a scream, long and agonizing, echoing through the carriages. Liam could hear whispers, countless voices calling his name, recounting his fears, his regrets, his sins. He scrambled toward the door, yanking at the handle, but it didn't budge. The lights above flickered one last time before dying completely. The carriage was plunged into darkness. In that moment, Liam felt a cold hand on his shoulder, firm and unrelenting. Welcome, a voice hissed beside his ear. You've been waiting for us. The darkness seemed to pulse and shift, revealing shapes, dozens of passengers, each more grotesque than the last. Their eyes were hollow, and their mouths moved in silent screams. The train had become a vessel of lost souls, drifting endlessly between the living world and some dark, forgotten realm. Time lost meaning. The minutes stretched into hours, or maybe days. Liam could not tell. Every carriage he passed contained the same horrors, twisted figures trapped in eternal torment. Some reached for him, some whispered secrets he wished he could forget, some simply stared with eyes that knew too much. And then he saw it, the conductor, tall, impossibly thin, with a face like cracked porcelain and a grin that split his head in two. He held a lantern that cast shadows too deep to be real. You're not supposed to be here, the conductor said, voice like gravel. No one boards the midnight train to Black Hollow and leaves alive. I need to get home, Liam stammered. The conductor's grin widened. Home? This is your home now. The train screeched to a halt. The windows cleared just enough to see the station, blackened and ruined, buildings twisted, lights shattered. There were people on the platform, or what remained of them, hollow-eyed figures crawling from the shadows, reaching toward the train. The conductor gestured, and the carriage doors opened, though the platform seemed miles away. Liam ran, stumbling through the fog, but the moment his foot touched the ground, He felt the icy grip of the train pulling him back. "No," he cried, fighting against the force. A voice whispered from behind him. "There's always a way off, if you find it before the train does." He turned, heart hammering. The woman from the carriage now stood on the platform, her childless eyes fixed on him. In her hands, she held a lantern similar to the conductor's. It flickered softly, cutting through the darkness. Liam ran toward it. Each step was agony, the platform stretching endlessly, the shadows twisting to block his path. The train's whistle screamed again, shaking the ground beneath him. He reached the lantern, snatching it just as a skeletal hand lunged for him. Light flooded the station, burning away the fog, and Liam collapsed, gasping, clutching the lantern like a lifeline. When he looked up, the train was gone. The station was empty, silent, as if the nightmare had never existed. The old man from before appeared, leaning on his cane. "You made it," the man said softly. "For now, but the train, it never stops. It's waiting for the next passenger. And for some, the next journey is permanent." Liam stumbled away, the lantern casting shadows on the broken station walls. He didn't look back. Every night since, when the fog rolls in thick and the midnight hour approaches, he swears he hears the faint clatter of wheels on rails, a distant whistle calling his name, promising that the train will return. Because the midnight train to Black Hollow doesn't just take the lost, it keeps them.